Good morning. It's the start of another week here. Joe's gone home back to Pennsylvania. We'll have more on his visit here in the next couple of episodes. We had a lot of fun. I really appreciate all the guys that came out and visited us. Right now, I'm continuing work on this panel for the Janitral. Jan has reset all of these so they're nice and fair right here and right here. And I'm working my way across this horizontal line. I'm to right there, I think. So I've got to finish this and do this bottom one. Let's see what else is going on. Well, Jan's got the panels back off the side here, so I'm not sure what he's doing with that. Jan and Dave both have obligations today, so I'm kind of batching it until later this afternoon. The Sparky should be here anytime now. Jan will be here this afternoon. Can try to get this done. And after I get this done, I'm going to go tackle drilling out those radio trays so we can get going on that. Anyway, I'll be back with you. So underneath all of these screws, there's just a little bit of crap that may be making these proud. So we're just touching these with the countersink just to get the crud out of there. And then we'll put the screw back in, make sure that it's nice and flush. And then once all that's done, then I've got to take this all back off. And remember that tube that was in here last week? Well, I've modified it. I've flattened it out so it fits better in here. And we'll have to do some anti-chafing for that tube. So. Anyway, I'll get this done. I'll be back. Okay, so while I was in the middle of this, Nate showed up and he's given me a hand on the rest of this. So we are done with this until Jan passes his okay on it. Then we're going to have to take this panel off and we're going to get in there, make sure everything is clean, and make sure that that hose that's in there is chafe-proof. Bob and John are up in the cockpit. They're removing whatever radio stack is in the trays. And Nate and I are going to get up in there and try to drill off the trays that don't belong there. And we'll get back to you.
They're empty now.
Okay. John says they're empty now.
We don't know how to get them out yet.
Anyway, that's the next thing Nate and I are going to get after. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but Nate is trying to pop the rivet heads. We've drilled them a little bit, trying to pop the rivet heads off of these rivets holding his radio stack in. Okay, so we've taken the instruments out of this side there to gain access, and the instruments there and there are out. Unfortunately, these trays were riveted in, so we tried drilling them out from the front. We got pretty much through that, and we've gotten through the rivets over here. But there's just a whole plethora of stuff in here to get around while we're trying to drill out the rivet tails. We'll keep going here and see if we can get them out. Okay, so let me show you why we're changing these trays. So we've now got the old trays pulled out. These are the new trays. So the SL30s wouldn't fit those anyway. But so what we're trying to do now is raise these up to a location that's up further. The transponder will be underneath this, and that'll just get it that much further above the controls on the center console. So let me take you up to the airplane. So Nate and I got everything out of the center stack except for the audio panel rack. So now we're going to try to get these. We're going to try to get these located where they need to be, and then we'll see what we look like. It's been an interesting week here in Utah. Been really busy between not so much high maintenance, but working on another airplane, and you'll see that in another video. But I just arrived here at the hangar. It's Thursday. It's weird for me because yesterday got really complicated. But let me show you what's been going on. So we talked last week about the non-skid that's been put down. Well, Jan is basically finished all of this, and this panel is got non-skid on it. The only part left is back there, but haven't quite decided how to deal with that. Got this panel back off of here again. We need to do some anti-chafing here, but all of the screws are fit. That panel fits nicely. Started working up there to remove the trays. Got the old trays out. Now I just got to get the rest of the trays in there. The side panels are basically done on this side. We have a special delivery coming in a couple of hours. That's going to be really cool. You're going to like it. And so what I'm starting off the day with, we got our stand for the nose gear jack. So you see the spray can on top. That's what Jan's got me doing today, is painting this. So we'll get going on this, and I'll get back to you. All right, well, I've got a pretty good start on this, but I ran out of paint. So Jan's picking up some more. In the meantime, I'm going to go see what I can do about getting some more radio trays installed in my high maintenance. I'm walking out to the flight line right now because we have an arrival that's imminent, and I'm really excited about this. So stand by. Man, there's a lot of traffic here today. I've seen 6 small plane movements, a big 737 or an Airbus just took off. Okay, so the Bonanza's been unloaded, and I'm standing here with Greg from Lee Aerospace. This guy is Santa Claus. Let me show you what he brought. Those are cool packages. This is cool, very cool. And Greg and company, you may remember Damon and Mark from Polishing Windows. They built us new windows to go in the holes that aren't filled yet. So Lee, thank you so much for all you've done for us. Should we open one of these?
It's Christmas.
It is Christmas.
Absolutely. Sure enough.
Yeah. So just so you know, Greg was bored, so he got in his personal airplane and flew these to us. People like us for some reason. I don't understand it.
Wait till you get the bill.
I'm afraid. Oh. Okay, so we had a conversation about this right here. You and I talked on the phone because the original windows, the countersink, didn't have any edge distance, and we're thinking that may have contributed to the failure of these windows in the first place. So you gave a good story and said, let's make them bigger.
Well, there wasn't any interference in the airframe, so what we did, we made the windows about the outer pane about 100 thousandths more all the way around the profile, which would give it more edge distance and structural integrity to the holes. And it wasn't so much the holes, but the countersinks, because the airframe's hot dimpled,
Right.
or dimpled. You take a countersunk screw, then you got to obviously countersink the acrylic, which ate up a lot of the edge distance.
Right. Right.
And so ended up building, polished and cleaned up the inner pane and the spacer. We formed and built new outer panes, and then machined them, and then used the deal as a guide and template to build them. That's why we're allowed to make them a little bit bigger.
Okay.
The material, hopefully, the tint will match. It's what we're building new production windows for, single engine Cessna windshields and outside cockpit windows to get to this thickness. But
well, I guess if we don't like it, we'll send them back.
you can do that. The bill's still coming. But
wow.
and then we temporarily holding them together with this some fender washers and some hardware from Menards. Not certified, obviously, but here, got these things.
Oh, that's all right. He's showing off, Jan. Well, I suspect they're not going to be long for going in there.
I hope they fit like a glove. We also installed new inserts in all the holes.
Okay. And that's there to protect
The acrylic from the...
Yeah, from the airframe. Okay, here's the unveiling. Look at that. Man, oh man. Window on the world. So passengers are going to really get a good view. This is a whole lot better than an airliner.
It's a big window.
It is.
Kind of reminds me of the big windows on the Rockwell Commanders.
Oh, yeah.
Big, they call them scenic windows.
Yeah.
Actually, the big ones they call them scenic windows. But that's really the key, is when you look through it optically and you put a slope angle, how much. So we're gonna have to touch it to see if it even exists.
They so open that airplane up visually. It's just an amazing deal.
Yeah,
And you go to reach for something, you go point.
Etch into them.
Not like the B2 or B1.
B2 or B1, 890 is okay. There's certain ones that are
What did
okay.
you say, 1425?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, have I been using this all my life and I never knew what those numbers were?
Well, you can get the 1425 CF, chromate free, so you don't get cancer. Was the way
That's
CF is chromate free.
I touch the table in California, I get cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of nice. If
So
you're real picky
890
about stuff, you use the same batch where you do them all one time. That way they all look the same. I
So
know.
when you mix it up and it's not various colors of whatever you did, but
Yeah, but you guys are still brave. We still do sim kits, and we mix them, and we just use an air gun.
Oh.
But that's what they do for a living. Actually, they're pretty good at it. If you talk to them real nice or Gary.
I've been looking at them and they've been just ignoring me.
No, I'm not used to this.
On behalf of the high maintenance crew, we really want to thank you. This is incredible.
We're happy to contribute to some degree, not 100%, for restoration products. I mean, we're airplane guys. It's always good to be here. It's always good to see people working on projects. So,
Well,
and I know that how exciting they are to start. Midway, 2/3 the way through them, they go.
we've been pretty good about that. We've had a really good core of about, for sure, 6 to 8 guys and upwards of 10, I guess. So we've got, I'm going to say 10 pretty good guys that have stayed with it all these years. And then we've had another, I'm guessing over the years, 50 people. So yeah, people come and go. And their contributions have been really nice for whatever they've done.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's worked out well. We figure we've got roughly 30,000 man hours of restoration in this so far for the 12 years.
I take it, hopefully at some point in time we'll end up at Oshkosh.
Well, it's better.
And we have a big presence at Oshkosh.
well, it's another day here at the hangar. going to continue on trying to get the radio trays in the airplane so that the Sparkies can come in and start getting the connectors attached to it. And we're that much closer to getting the nose on this airplane. John is over there. He's been up on the horizontal doing some polishing up there. We'll see where the day goes. So, well, it's the end of the day Friday, and I'm tired. I've been sitting here in this cramped cockpit working on getting the radio stack, the new stack in. It's painful because you're standing on your head backwards. Jan's been outside with the vacuum and mentoring. And so we've got these three mounted. Let me show you what they're going to look like. Okay, so there's the PS Engineering audio panel, one SL30, another SL30, and then a GTX 327 is going here, but I haven't mounted this, so I can't get that in there yet. But this is great because this means that when the Sparkies get done putting all the wires to the backs of these, there's not much more that we can do. So I think the 100th episode is going to be a pretty special one. I hope you'll stick around for that. You notice that there's two SL30 here. Well, one of them is paid for. The other one still needs GoFundMe money. So I just borrowed it for fitment. I have to return it because it doesn't belong to us yet. So I appreciate you watching our videos. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, liking, and share. I know we all here at the High Maintenance Hangar would really appreciate it. I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.